Sure. Well, explain the type of explosion that you documented happened in Russia, and the Russians documented that you then believed happened there, and then later the evidence came out of the nuclei that show the reaction happened. Explain that to us, Doctor.
And so eventually they can actually detect the concentrations of these isotopes that enable you to tell whether it's a nuclear explosion or not. And in the case of Chernobyl, it certainly was, because the ratio of these isotopes showed that there was a nuclear explosion, and it wasn't a hydrogen explosion at all, although a hydrogen explosion did follow, of course, because there's lots of hydrogen there. Now, I think that reactor 4 explosion was a nuclear explosion. I think what happened is that the tank ran dry. There was a meltdown of a significant proportion of the fuel elements in the tank, the reactor 4 tank, this one that's got the huge amount of radioactivity in it. Incidentally, half of the entire quantity of radioactivity in the whole of the Fukushima complex is sitting in that tank. This is why everybody's freaking out. There's about 10 to the 20 becquerels of radionuclides in that tank. So that's 1 and 20 zeros, and that represents about 50 to 100 Chernobyl accidents. So if that lot went up, you are in trouble. It's not a question of it going into the Pacific then, because now it's in the air, and the air gets across the Pacific quite reasonably fast. It's not like it dilutes in the Pacific, but the jet stream carries it straight across to America. So you're in deep shit if that happens. So what they have to do is to keep that thing from losing its water and then subsequently melting down. What I think happened was that there was a distillation of the plutonium from the plutonium parts of those spent fuel rods, and the critical mass of plutonium is about 9 kilograms. Now, 9 kilograms, because plutonium is so dense, is represented by a quantity of plutonium about the size of an apple, or maybe 2 apples, but anyway, not very much. So if that lot gets together, there's an enormous bang, and everything goes up in the air. Now,
so if you have explosions, it'll start slapping all this radioactive material together, which could create the same thing you get with an atomic blast. And now it's in the middle of one of the biggest nuclear waste dumps in the world, where they've been storing 40 years of this crud right on a fault line, right on a tsunami line. And they promised in their studies, for those that didn't remember this 2 years ago, that they would never, have a problem if they got hit by a tsunami. And then obviously they did. And now they're saying, don't worry. Dr. Busby, I want to give the number out for people that are in Japan who have Vonage or IP phones. They can call us 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231, and give us their take on what it's like living in this, and the kids dropping dead, and the cancers exploding, and the deformed animals that are being born, insect and plant and animal. I mean, it's just amazing. 800-259-9231, and I'm trying to pull up an actual number to the network for folks to call direct so I can give that out to people. My guys are pointing it out to me now. Oh, there it is. They put the number up. It's your country code, 011, and then 1-651-695-7755, 1-651-695-7755 to call us direct from Japan and give us your take on that. But